Welcome back to LittleLee and Rose. My name is Summer Noel, and today we're going to do a real fun cup. Right now we're in the middle of COVID 2020. It's been really bonkers. A lot of us are stuck inside. So we are going to do an apocalyptic kind of themed cup. This is actually on a big hydro flask. I'm going to be doing this. You can do this on any style cup. I'm doing it on this hydro flask because I'm going to keep it for myself. This is going to involve a couple different techniques. This is going to be the smoke effect. This is going to be applying a large water slide. This is going to be using lightning bolts. You guys have asked me about those. We're going to be kind of mashing a bunch of different techniques into one tumbler to make this really, really unique tumbler. Now, usually I keep my tumblers very basic. So you get the basic idea of a technique, and then you can just kind of go from there and stretch your mind. But on this one, I think I'm going to be keeping this for myself. So we're going to really go forward on this cup. If you're a newbie to my channel, I welcome you to join our Facebook group. The link is in the description below if you have any questions, because some of what we do here might not quite make sense to you, and you might be a little bit behind if you're brand new to this. Feel free to join the Facebook group and ask more questions, or you can also binge watch my channel, and you'll learn a lot about working with epoxy and working with different mediums that we work with epoxy as well. So we are going to just jump right in here, and what we're going to do is I have designed a lightning bolt vinyl, lightning bolt SVG vinyl, which my Cricut cutter is going to cut out for me. If you are not familiar, you can use Silhouette or Cricut as your vinyl cutting machine. If you're new, these are different machines that you can buy at craft supply stores. They're computer programs that you can do design in, and then you tell your computer what to cut, and it cuts out on the vinyl. So we're going to use those on this cup. I have two separate lightning bolts that I've designed, and we're going to be using that on this cup. I'm going to go ahead and get those cut out, and we will be right back. All right, so now you see we've got our mat with our Cricut has cut out our lightning bolts. What we've done with our jug is we have done a very light sanding with 320 grit along the grain of the cup. Then I've actually sprayed, Rust-Oleum has a 2X glow spray. The only place I've been able to find that is at Walmart. It is quite expensive. It's $15, but I highly recommend it. It works a lot better than the regular glow spray. So I have actually coated the stainless steel with just the glow spray. And then we're using book cover. This is basically just like drawer liner or contact paper. It has very, very little stick. And the reason we're doing that is because we're going to lay this lightning bolts down onto this cup, and when we peel it away as our peekaboo, we don't want it ripping up the glow paint. We want the glow paint to stay where it's at. So this, by having very low tack, means it's not going to rip that glow spray paint right off the cup, because we're not going to put an epoxy layer over the top of the glow spray paint. We're just going to go ahead and save us a step, and we're going to put the contact paper lightning bolts down, spray paint over the top, and then we're going to do our next steps. All right, guys, so that's what we're about to do. Here we go. Let's just jump right in. I am going to pull up this lightning bolts. I've got my little weeding tweezers and weed out the little bits. Oh, let me put my weeding ring on. Where is it? There it is. I am going to grab the little bits out from between, and again, I cut this out with my Cricut, and it is done, like I said, with contact paper, so it doesn't have a really high tack. If you have some non-permanent vinyl, that might work as well. Again, just be very careful with how sticky it is. These get a little wily because they get a little crazy, but I wanted to start from the top because they're so lightweight, they kind of want to fly away. So we're just going to gently lay it down. We're not doing tons and tons of lightning bolts. We're just doing a few. But we do want to make sure that they're stuck down well, but very gently. Okay, we're going to do that one there. Oop, and do one on this side. Now that one was going to be our small one. This is going to be a significantly bigger one. Again, these are just lightning bolts that I just created with squiggly lines. Who knows if they really even look like lightning bolts? They look like lightning bolts to me. So we'll just go from there. Okay, so we've got this one now. We're going to pull him up very, very delicately off the paper. Use our weeding tweezers to help lift him without it breaking, because some of his little bits are very gentle. When I cut this out on my Cricut, I used printable vinyl setting because it's actually, the vinyl is thinner than regular vinyl because it's, like I said, it's book cover. And I use printable vinyl setting set to more pressure. So if you are going to try and attempt this and you're struggling with it, maybe try that as your setting to get it to cut through well for you. Okay, so see, these are getting all, they get all crazy, they get all wily. They don't want to, they kind of have a little electric, almost like electric static in them. Ha ha, lightning bolts with electric static. Oh, ha 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 ha, funny joke. All right, so we're gonna have these start at the top. We're gonna gently, 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 and maybe even use our weeding tweezers to manipulate it here a little bit. Work it down. Work each piece down. We don't want any wrinkles or rumples. Just use the weeding tweezers to get underneath. All right, there we go. So then we're gonna just press down real nice and gentle, real nice and firmly, not gently, real nice and firm, because we want a good contact to the cup. Even though we don't want it to stick too hard, we do want it to actually stick, so that when we do the white spray paint over the top of it, it doesn't go underneath. We want it definitely to be down to the cup. There we go. So now we have our 2 lightning bolts set and ready to go. Beautiful. Those are going to be 1 on each side of our apocalyptic scene. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this outside and we're going to spray paint this all white. We're going to cover it up. You can see I've got the top taped off, and we're going to cover this whole cup white, and then we're going to do the smoke method. We'll be right back. All right, so we're now at the point where we are going to add our smoke over our lightning bolts. Couldn't think of it. So we had our white spray paint over the lightning bolts, and now we are going to add our smoke. So what we're doing is we were taking a candle, any candle. I generally use the cheap candles because these are like the little cheapy, I think this was a 3 for $10 at Michael's. They tend to put off really good smoke, especially when you use them with the right tools. The best smoke you're going to get is when you are working with an actual silver spoon or a knife or fork. This is one I just pick up. I find them at garage sales and thrift stores. So that's what I use to get my really good smoke. Also, if you have an old-timey one with a wick, you just make the wick extra long, and that will actually create a lot of smoke. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy started. It's going to smell beautifully of peaches in here. This is a peaches and cream candle that I got at Michael's. So we're just gonna use our kitchen torch and get that going. So you can see when it's not really smoking now, but when you put that spoon, it creates a very big black smoke. So that is what we're gonna use to add the smoke all around our cup. So we're now gonna do that right now. So I'm just gonna, and I wanna keep the cup as close to the smoke coming off of the spoon as possible. And you can see right there, it starts making that smoke. So we're gonna do this all the way around the cup, kind of all the way up and down. We're just gonna keep maneuvering. I'm gonna keep the spoon right there into that wick and let that dark smoke kind of go all over the cup. Again, the silver spoons, knives, and forks that you can, if you don't already have one on hand, like I said, you can easily find one, usually at a thrift store, a secondhand store, or at garage sales or estate sales. They put off really good smoke. So I'm going to put you guys on high speed, and we're going to get this whole cup done fully in that same technique. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to do, we've got the cup done. We have one very thin layer of epoxy over the top just to protect the smoke effect and our paint. It's got a few blemishes where I touched it with a spoon. I'm not worrying about that. It's just kind of going to add to the texture and fun of this cup. We are going to wrap this cityscape around the cup. So this is going to be very similar to a full cup wrap. We're going to line it up against the bottom. We're going to have a gap on the other side. That is intentional. We've got a decal to go in that spot. So we're going to get going. So we're going to go ahead and just drop this in our water. The water is room temp. You don't want it too warm. Also, remember when you do your water slides, if you're using an inkjet printer, you want to use a satin finish satin finish clear spray paint. Matte finish tends to make it crack really bad. So always make sure you do satin finish. I do find that that is an easier finish to work with. We just need to leave this in for about 60 seconds. Like I said, the water is about room temperature. If it's too warm, it can also kind of degrade the paint, the clear spray paint over the top of the image, and make your decal bleed. So you don't want to make sure, you want to make sure your water is not too warm. So you want room temperature water, and you want to use satin finish. Now, again, if you're using an inkjet printer, you do not need to seal it at all. Just print, if you're using if you are using a laser printer, you do not need to seal it at all. You just need to print it and go. Because the inkjet printer, sorry, I'm concentrating very hard here. Inkjet printer ink is not waterproof, but LaserJet is waterproof. So this is laying down beautifully. We're going to just use, I did not pre-wet the surface. Our brand of water slide paper does not need a pre-wet surface. It lays beautifully just with a regular surface. So if you make it too wet, it's really hard to place your water slide. I know that this little area here is not going to show. It's going to be, our decal is quite large. All right, so we've got our big old decal. This is super duper cool. We're gonna place him in. I'm gonna be using my ultra fine weeding tweezers to separate this. I hand cut him out. I printed him out from I made him into a Word document and then printed him out on the LLR, LittleLee and Rose printable vinyl. And then I hand cut him out. Sorry, my hands are a little shaky, so it's a little hard to get this point in there. And I hand cut him instead of using my Cricut. But you can see, because I wanted to get the shape as exact how I wanted it, I am going to line him up with the bottom and just at the edge of this building. And we're going to just slowly work over. We don't want any air bubbles. So I'm just going to slowly lay him down and slowly just use my finger. I don't want to scratch the surface of the decal either. So we're just going to go slow and steady. It doesn't matter whether this is printed with inkjet printed. This is inkjet printable vinyl, but it does make it waterproof, so it will not run once you put epoxy over the top. Once you printed it on there, you are good to go. There we go. So cool. So there we go. There is our cup. As of now, we've got a little bit more detailing to do, so let's get on to the fun stuff, some more fun stuff. All right, so here's going to be our last decal we're going to put on. This is one that I did print and cut through the Cricut. I'm going to put it on this side. I want to kind of put it up here between our two lightning bolts. This is just a fun little detail we're going to be adding. Maybe I'll go down. No, I want to go up. We're going to go up. It's going to have a little crease going over that edge. I'm okay with it. This is definitely going to be a personal cup. I am designing this one specifically for myself. The lightning cup I was originally going to show you guys was going to be lavenders and pearls and just have a, you know, my typical theme. But I am a zombie lover and we're in the middle of the pandemic. And so this is kind of my jam. So this is a little bit more me. I'm not very girly. So here we go. This is going to be for me. I might put my name on the bottom or something. So this is, I'm going to let it just chill. We're going to put some, we're going to tape off the top. We're going to get the next layer of epoxy on it. Here we go. All right, guys, how cool is this cup? Under epoxy, it came out so, so cool. I'm definitely going to be keeping this as a personal cup. I know I say that a lot, but very few actually make it into my arsenal, but this one will be staying with me. I am definitely a zombie apocalypse lover, so this is it. My husband actually has a gas mask that looks exactly like this. We've been laughing because he's actually been wearing it out to places, so I hope you guys learned a lot on this one. Remember, when you turn the lights out, these lightning bolts will glow. They will be super duper cool. It'll give it that extra feature, that extra texture. I am terrible at getting the glow to work on camera, so I'm sorry. I will give it a shot. If you're in my Facebook group, I will post a picture of what I can get footage of in my Facebook group, so check for it there. But I hope you guys learned something new and fun. This was a big hydro flask. Like I said, our tumbler turners work really great with these, and we did a big full wrap. And we also used the printable vinyl for these, the sign here and for this image of the guy with the gas mask. So the printable vinyl or water slide, all of it, super easy to do. We use the smoke method. We use some glow in the dark method. We use water slide. We use printable vinyl. I hope you guys learned a lot on this tutorial, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.